Where's my cutie? Here's my little cutie. You. In May 2020, we decided to get 3 chickens, 2 female blue Pekin bantams and a male blue Pekin bantam. We had them for several months and everything was going really well. It's lovely to see them growing up because we only got them at about 3 weeks old. They were doing really lovely, but unfortunately we had a neighbour or neighbours complain about the sound of the cockerel. Even though he's only a little miniature chicken and really the sound was only about as loud as a seagull, they still wanted to complain. And so unfortunately we don't have our cockerel with us anymore, which is really sad. However, we still want more chickens because that was always the plan, to breed them. And so what we decided to do is order some eggs. We found some fertilized eggs on eBay. It was a half a dozen. Let me see, it's about under £10 I think we won them for, and then about £6 delivery. And they're white Pekin bantam eggs and they came from Ireland. So they were delivered last Thursday and it is now Tuesday. We let them settle for just under 24 hours in a relatively cool room. And then when the time came on Friday, I put the eggs under one of my hens. Now, one of my hens called Amy, she's very broody. She always sits around in her nesting box. Whether there's an egg there or not, she's just always sitting there. So I'll show you Amy, as I think I have done before, and you can see what she's like. And she's been sitting on the eggs now for several days. It takes 21 days to hatch out the eggs, but it can be a little bit more, a little bit less. And yeah, I'll let you know what the results are and if we have any of the eggs hatch. I don't know, it's only our first time. And I'm not really thinking any of them will hatch. I think it's good to keep expectations really low. But it would be lovely if some of them do, and won't it be so sweet to see these little white chicks coming around. And I think Amy will make a really good mum because she's very broody and protective and stuff like that. So I'll go show you them now, or them. I'll show you Amy and the eggs now. So here's little Amy. There we are. There's a little bit of light shining on her. That's all that is. I'm gonna pick my finger. You're thinking about it. You's a good girl. We called her Amy from Futurama, from Leela and Amy. So Amy was the smaller one, so that's why I called her that. And then the cockerel, we called him Little Bender, and he really lived up to that name. So really, she's just got herself really kind of spread out there with her wings. And she doesn't really appreciate me petting her, but she's actually vibrating, she's buzzing. So sweet. Let's see if we can see an egg. There's an egg there. Ow. There's an egg right there. So yeah, she's hiding them well underneath her body. Let me go. Isn't she lovely? She's actually quite vocal, especially when she comes out. She's always clucking around. The other one's not quite so vocal, but the other one's just off wandering around all the time. Leela, that is. Yeah, she just sort of buzzes. So yeah, it's gonna be. Okay, I'll leave you alone. Fine. Let's get this hatch down. Okay, so yeah, we shall wait and see if these eggs actually hatch out. I will need to start getting into candling. I haven't done that yet. I think that happens at day 10. You take an egg at night, or take all the eggs at night time, and then you can use your phone, the little light on the back of the phone, and that will show you. So yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, the white pecan bantam is going to be ever so sweet, and the eggs are going to taste delicious, and they should make absolutely ideal back garden chickens, because they are relatively quiet. From all the chicken breeds, they're pretty quiet, and they are really not very damaging, because they've only, you know, smaller bodies, smaller feet, and that sort of thing. Obviously, if you have loads of pecan bantams and you put them on your garden, that will probably be into, you know, accumulate with the damage and stuff. But yeah, I think our garden's, you know, not been destroyed by them, so that's good. There are a couple of measures I actually take to help keep the garden nice, and I'll just show you those now. There's a little temporary measure that we have. These are yew bushes. You might recognise those if you've ever tried to buy a hedge and you've wondered what hedging bush you should buy. This is apparently the king of hedges, because you can cut it right back to the wood, and it will grow back from the wood. Do you see how it's growing just straight off the woody areas and not just the lush green bits? So I've spread a net over the top, as you can see, but I also have a net at the bottom, because what the chickens will like to do is they walk up here and then they just sort of scratch, and then they're looking for insects in the ground to eat, because they're very, very nutritious for them. And the net over the top is more for rabbits. This is what happens if you don't protect. Do you see how small that one is at the end? Yes, our rabbits got to that one. And then, but yeah, these are doing quite nicely now. The growth is nice to see. This one is lacking a bit, but once they've done growing, I will prune them and try and clip them into a nice shape. But they're still quite young and still pretty small, as you can see overall, the height of them. So that's them. That's one chicken measure I do. So what I did is I cut a rectangle, and then I cut like a slit, and so I just slipped it across. Hope that sort of makes sense. So here's a big a rectangle piece, there's the slit, and then just slid it across. And so now when the chicken walks over here, can't really do anything with that, can't really pull it back. Unfortunately, sometimes Leela does get in and pull some over, but it's no big deal. This area over here, this should look like slabs, but what she's done is she's dragged it from that border area and pulled it across. So I haven't gotten around to this part of the garden yet to kind of make it over and do something nice with it. But so this is the kind of mess you can get with chickens. They'll just sort of, any loose friable materials, they'll spread them around. So the lighter they are in their bodies, the kind of less damage and, well, not damage, but just moving stuff around. Here's another example of the kind of stuff chickens do. They'll just dig around the edge, rooting around looking for grubs and things. They knocked these stones over, that was a bit annoying. This is another chicken safety measure I've done. Well, it's not for the chicken's benefit, it's more for what's underneath it. I've got a pile of stones, and the chickens used to drive me mad going up onto these piles of stones and just flicking them everywhere. And really I should have put this on top a long time ago, but I just keep sweeping it back. But now the stones are there ready for whenever I'm gonna be able to use them for some project in the garden. So yeah, cover up loose friable material, otherwise it will get dug around. Here, again, this should be a nice sharp edge, but she's, you know, sort of done all this, kicked it down. So I'll sweep that back. This chipping pathway I've made, it does look nice, but unfortunately sometimes a chicken will go up to it and just dig holes there. So I just need to go over it with a rake. It's very simple. And at the same time, I'll go and pick up any loose materials like this, and I'll put them in the bin or in the compost heap or something, whatever is appropriate. But yeah, gravel is, hello. I haven't got anything for you. You don't want that, do you? No. No, you don't want it. Look! 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 Come on! Come on! Come on! Look! Look! Ah, it's gone now. It's your chance. Isn't she sweet? Aw. This is another little thing I've done. Obviously a bit of chicken wire loosely looped around there. To be honest, I'll need to just pull this apart and undo. This is mostly for the chickens actually, but I'll just pull this off. I haven't done this before. Pull it off, and then that needs to be clipped back so I can see the ground again. Get that looking nice. By the way, if anybody knows what this is about, this is an elderflower bush, one of the dark one. It's called Nigra or something, and this should be green, and as you can see it's bright yellow. Haven't got any insect problems as far as I can see. I did last year though. Do you see this bit's a bit greener, but it should be a bit more like these. The yellow isn't right, and I don't understand. I don't have a book, you see, on it. So if anybody knows why it's this horrible bright yellow colour and why this goes, basically the burning happens after the yellowing, so it grows green, then goes yellow, and then goes burnt, and it's kind of gets me down, you know, when I see that, because, you know, I bought the plant, I look after it, I water it. I don't know what to do with it really. A bit sad. Oh yeah, one more thing I'll show you. This took me quite a long time to do. So I really like my shed. It's my new shed from last year. Got that installed summertime. It's even got lovely glass windows, so very, very posh. I actually found this a bit of a bargain, so I'm even more thrilled with it. As you can see, I got my nice footing there, and here we got our purple slate stones, chipping stones, and I've got my plastic mesh over it again, and I've secured it with these galvanized pins or pegs. Here's another one. So I don't know why this weed is here. It's probably grown in on a bit of earth that's kind of gone and sat on top. But I leveled this out with my shovel. I had to get it beautifully flat, or as flat as I possibly could. Got the weed fabric, laid down the stones, and then I did the plastic netting on top, and it works an absolute treat. This is the only bit where it's come out a bit, but apart from that, it is tidy. You can see how nice and tidy it looks from a distance. Isn't that nice? And really, it should be like this. It should be like chaos. But thanks to this netting tip, it's so much better. And it's just really nice to come this way and just admire this nice nice tidy section of my garden, considering the rest of it. Case in point. I also wanted to show you, this is my apple tree, and again, like the elderflower bush, it's also got damage on the leaves, and again, I don't know why, and again, I don't have a book. I know I've got to get a book on this, but if anyone has any ideas in the short term what might be the problem, I would like to know. I espaliered it myself. It was just a maiden tree. These just fall off. Oh, so unhealthy. I wish I knew what was wrong with it. So yeah, this is a very sunny position, which I was told was good for apple trees to grow. Just don't really know what's wrong. It was put in that pot with some rabbit waste, rabbit bedding. But maybe that was a while ago. Maybe it all needs taking out and refreshing. Anyway, let us know what you think. We'd really like to save these the plant and tree. All right, guys. See you later.